as I've always been, staring back blearily. My eyes are bloodshot, and my figure seems to sag with exhaustion. I stand there for a while, feeling my mind cloud up even more as I go over what just happened. Then a violent shiver comes over my body, like I'm suffering a high fever. I feel sick. My skin is sensitive, and my joints are sore after a moment. I move back into the motel room. I can see that it's light outside the curtains. How long was I in there? It must have been hours. I don't care, though. Still shivering, I head for the closest bed, sliding under the covers in my clothes and laying my head against the pillow. I realize that this is Jenna's bed. I can smell her perfume along with the faint sense of fox musk through the pillow. Where was she again? Can't even remember through the haze in my head. I think I fell asleep, but I'm not sure. A sudden knock at the door makes me jump. I curl up tighter under the covers, hoping that I'd just dreamed it, or that whatever is outside just goes away. Then the knock again, followed by Leo's voice.
Otter, you in there?
I cringe, squeezing my eyes shut, having completely forgotten about him. Why had he chosen to show up? No! I lay there for a moment. Then he yells again, which makes me jump out of my bed, cringing at the pain in my joints. Groggily, I stumble to the door, leaning against it for a moment as I feel lightheaded, trying to gather myself. Finally, I fix my face into a tired smile before opening the door. Leo stands there, his ears perked, eyes wide as if he hadn't expected me to open the door.
Oh, hey, Chase. Are you alright?
He reaches out to rest a paw on my shoulder, looking me over. Yeah, was just up all night doing my project. I left it until the last moment. I give him a sheepish grin. Leo clicks his tongue at me.
Isn't that due tomorrow? And aren't you driving home all day today?
I shrug. I'll be fine.
If you say so, Otter.
He continues to stare at me with a look of concern. What's up?
Well, I guess I'm just sorry that I haven't been around more this week. I guess I was just being a bit unfair to you.
I rack my brain for a reason why Leo's apologizing to me, or how exactly he'd been unfair to me.
I guess I've just been a bit down because you weren't talking to me as much as I thought you would.
Oh? Had Leo been avoiding me all week? I hadn't even noticed. Oh, well, it's alright. I was wondering why you hadn't texted me. I'd been missing you.
Oh.
Leo's ears flatten and I see a look of shame cross his face.
You could have texted me too, you know.
I didn't want to bother you. I could tell you weren't all that happy. Leo lets out a big sigh, letting his shoulders droop.
I'm sorry, Jess. I I guess I just felt kinda shitty after what Flynn did. Then you just kind of went quiet.
I scratched the back of my head. Yeah, I can't deny that he kind of ruined the vibe of the whole trip. But I really should have called you afterwards. I'm sorry too.
My dad did call me in to work every day, so I guess it would have been hard to work things out anyway.
That sounds familiar. He's still making you work weekends too?
Usually, yeah.
Leo looks past my shoulder into the motel room.
Anyway, when I texted Gina, it sounded like something was wrong. I guess she's already back in Pueblo?
I shrug. Yeah, I think the tension got to her in the end, and she took off early. She was complaining about Flynn the entire time she was here. Leo lets out another sigh.
Great. He's been acting strange too.
Oh yeah? I silently hope that the wolf isn't going to ask to be let in.
Yeah, driving around acting all shady. That's actually what made me wanna visit you. See if everything was okay. Carl isn't even responding to me.
I'm good. Just tired and stressed out.
Is Tej here?
He's actually hanging out with an old friend in Peyton right now. Once he comes back, we're gonna start driving back. Was actually in the middle of a nap.
Oh, sorry. You wanted to get back to that then?
I smile guiltily. Yeah, that would probably be for the best. Don't want to nod off on the road, you know?
Of course.
Leo looks back at me hesitantly.
Listen, I know this was probably going to be our last time getting together before we split off, but you want to try this again in the future? Maybe over the summer? When you don't have school to worry about? I just feel like we left a lot unsaid. It doesn't have to be everyone, and maybe this time I'll just tell Flynn not to come around.
I smile back at Leo. Yeah, that sounds good. I think that'd be a great time. Leo smiles back, looking genuinely relieved and happy.
Oh, that's so good to hear. And I'll be sure Dad knows that I want the week off.
Good luck with that. I'll let TJ and Jenna know.
Thanks, Jess.
Leo stands there for a moment, then steps forward to give me a hug. I hug back tightly before letting him go. I stand in the doorway until Leo's van pulls out of the parking lot, heading in the direction of the highway, probably on his way to work. Once he's gone, I deflate, feeling as if that one conversation had been equal to hours of hard labor. Still, watching him go, I get the sense of sadness, like that was the last time we'd see each other the way we are now. I stumble back to the bed, almost falling before I catch myself on the edge with both paws. I stare at the square pattern on the comforter, feeling a little sick. For a moment, I hear whispers coming from the dark bathroom, but I don't even want to look up to see if I can see that figure in the mirror. Wish I'd closed the door, but I'm not gonna go near that place again. So I curl back up in the bed, facing away from the bathroom, closing my eyes, and just then noticing the smell of piss. I'd gotten bored of skipping rocks pretty quickly. Leo was good at it. He could skip them over the water 5 times before they sunk. Even Jenna could do at least 3. Mine would splat once and then sink like the stones they were. After Leo laughed at my last one, I glared and decided I'd go farther down the beach where no one else could go.
Hey, not in the way of the rocks. You're going to get hit.
Leo telling me to be careful only made me more angry, and I cut through the water far below the surface so they couldn't see me. I go back in the direction where we came from, wondering if Sydney and Toby are in the shallows, that I might be able to surprise them. Then I come around the curve of the beach. I see that they are in fact in the shallows, but I can tell immediately that something isn't right. Toby is flat on his stomach in the water. Sydney's sitting on his back. Toby has just enough room that his head barely sticks out of the water. As I poke my head up, I can hear the cat sobbing. Sydney isn't saying much at all. He's got a strange look on his face. It's a look that I've seen before, like that time he'd covered Toby's mouth and nose when he had him pinned down, and we had to pull them apart. It same look like when he'd thrown a dirt clod with a rock in it at the lynx's head. A look of determination, almost empty, but completely fascinated by what he was doing. Almost like he liked it. Something about this situation scared me, though. The other times, we'd been there to help separate them or stop Sydney from going too far. But now, it looked like he was trying to kill the cat. Every now and again, a wave would slosh over Toby's mouth and nose, and he'd yell and struggle frantically, begging Sydney to get off. But Sydney just sat there, enamored with his own cruelty. He was going to kill Toby, just like he killed his dad. My vision blurs as I go under and speed towards them. I leap out of the water to knock Sydney off the lynx as hard as I can. Sydney falls back in the water before quickly pushing himself back up. I see the look of horror on his face, not at what I'm about to do to him, but because he got caught doing something bad. Not just bad, but weird and scary and something that no one should ever do, not even if you're a kid. I don't think he could ever explain why he liked doing it. That look imprints itself in my mind. TJ runs off. I don't know where to. I try to get Sydney to tell me what he was doing for a while. I don't remember exactly what happens, but I get angry. I throw a punch. It misses and hits him in the throat instead. He lets out a hard cough, reaching up with both paws to clutch at his neck. He manages to stumble to his feet without using his paws, his Luce Lobro swim trunks wetly clinging to his legs. I don't give him a chance to stand for long. I tackle him again and grab his head, shoving it under the water. He scrambles frantically. I feel a dark satisfaction in my chest at the way I can hear his screams through the bubbling of his exhaling breath. I finally let him go after a good 10 seconds, and he comes up, gagging and choking. He starts to scramble away on his paws and knees before getting up. I see snot hanging out from his nose and chin as he stumbles, snorting out water, and I can tell he's about to cry.
I guess I should do Sydney.
You tried to kill me! I'm telling Leo! You tried to murder me!
So that was it. For some reason, the way he immediately tried to pull that on me. It was then that I believed that he was trying to kill TJ. Maybe not even on purpose. Maybe just wanting for it to accidentally happen. I don't know. But now, he was going to make everyone think I'm a murderer. Even though we all knew he did it. He stumbles away and I go after him, grabbing him. He's trying...
He's trying to kill me!
His voice is weak, so is his body, especially in the water. I poke my head up through the waves in front of the others.
Walter, move! We're going to hit your head!
I shrug my shoulders, dipping under the water again, so that I can actually hug myself and tremble alone. Again, time passes in a way that I'm not familiar with. 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours pass when my phone starts to ring. There's something ominous about it. Something I can't explain, but I feel it deep in my bones, like the ache of my joints. I open my eyes and see my phone just a foot in front of my face, vibrating over and over. I see the blank contact image on the screen with the name Julian under it. For a moment I wonder why I have his number, why I have his name attached to it. Then I remember it's because we exchanged numbers during the scavenger hunt, so that I could call him to meet up. Slowly I reach out and press the green button to answer. I raise it to my ear, waiting, but only getting silence on the other end. Hello?
Well, here we are. Hey, Chase?
Julian's voice sounds hesitant, like he's not really sure about what he's doing, like he doesn't know me. Yeah?
Hey, so something happened that I thought you, or at least someone, should know about.
I slowly sit up, the blanket falling away from my shoulders. What's up?
Well, TJ spent the night over at my place after what you did.
Julian's bass, face. Julian's voice takes on a Julian's voice takes on a hard edge, and for a moment I'm not sure what he's talking about. Then I remember the forest and what happened there. For some reason, the thought doesn't create that horrible empty guilt I'd felt yesterday. In fact, I feel nothing.
Anyway, we got him a bus ticket back to CCU, and we were hanging out until the departure time, which was an hour ago now.
Yeah?
Well, that lizard guy showed up. Flynn? He showed up at my house. I don't know how he knew where I live, but I think John just told him.
My heart skips a beat.
Anyway, he wanted to talk to TJ, and eventually TJ told me that I could just wait inside. So I did. And after a while, when I looked, they were gone.
Gone?
Yeah, and so was his truck. I'm pretty sure TJ went with him, but I don't know. They were both acting really strange, so I don't really feel good about it. TJ won't respond to my text either.
I see.
So, since your number is the only one I have from your friend group, I thought I should tell you so you can let the others know too.
All right, I'll do that.
All right.
There's a pause, but I'm already getting up, looking for my keys.
I'll probably check things out myself before my shift today. You know where Flynn lives?
I can tell that the bug doesn't really trust me with this information, and why would he? I don't care though. Yeah, he's on Shefford Street. Jaundice will be able to point out where it is for you, but I'm heading over now.
Let me know if you find anything out.
I will, later.
Bye.
I feel my heart rate picking up speed as I finally find my keys under my backpack on the table. I snatch them up and jog out of the motel, the heat of the afternoon sun coming over me in a wave. I realize then how late it is. I'd been in the motel for nearly a full day, but to me it felt like only a few hours, if that. I should be on the highway right now, if not already back in Pueblo, but I realize that none of that matters now. As I sit down, the oven-like heat of As I sit down in the oven-like heat of my car, I see it staring at me from the back seat. I'm not afraid of it, at least not right now. It means that I'm on the right track, I think. I'm doing what I was meant to do. I know where Flynn and TJ are. He probably thinks that's the best place to get the truth out of TJ. His truck sits there in the small parking lot alone, gleaming in the setting sun. I pull up right next to it and look inside. Empty. I park and shut off the engine, jumping out and jogging towards the faint trail through the sagebush. I know exactly where to go. Instead of turning right like we always did to get to the boulder, I take a left. I haven't been to this part of the beach in over a decade, not since it happened. I know this is the right direction, though, and soon enough, I see the bend in the beach that turns into the shallows that we'd played in so many times. I also see an odd set of tracks leading in that direction. Flynn's footprints, not hard to recognize with their long clawed toes. But there's another pattern next to them. They aren't footprints, but drag marks, like Flynn had been dragging something next to him. I pick up the pace and start to run, breath catching in my throat, that feeling of not being able to turn back looming over me like a dark fog. The water and sand around me is starting to tinge a soft red in the setting sun. For a moment, I wonder what would happen if I stop. What if I turn back instead of turning this corner? I know that my life will turn out very, very differently if I do. That thing in the mirror, this town, it told me so. But I feel like I'm set on a set of train tracks, cutting through the desert with no alternative path to speak of. And I've been on this track ever since I decided I needed to protect TJ. As I turn the corner, I see them immediately. TJ's sitting on the beach, his knees drawn up to his chest as he stares downward. Flynn is standing over TJ, his paws on his hips, looking down at the cat. It looks like he'd been thrown there by the lizard. I finally feel rage replace the anticipation and fear. It's finally going to happen, and now I want it to. Hey! Flynn immediately whirls around, eyes wide as he spots me sprinting towards him. He takes a step back as I get closer, but I skid to a stop 10 feet away, glaring at him as my paws clench into fists. What the hell are you doing? I scream at him, wanting him to know just how pissed I am. It feels good. Finally not being afraid or worried about what's going to happen. Because now I know there's no other option. Flynn looks taken aback for a moment, looking me up and down before he straightens up. He hasn't forgotten what happened between us yesterday, and I can tell that he's afraid of me.
Get the fuck out of here, Chase. This isn't about you.
You fucking bet it is. I look at TJ and he's gone back to staring at the ground, expression vacant. What are you doing to him?
I'm not doing anything to him except asking him some questions.
About?
You know exactly what about.
He's trying to confirm your secret. Get away from him. I say each word with deliberation, taking a few steps closer to the lizard. Flynn steps back again, but only with one foot. He doesn't back away further.
You stay the fuck away from me, Chase. And what the hell have you been doing this whole week?
Flynn seems to grow a little more confident with that. What do you mean? I stop and cross my arms, waiting.
What I asked yesterday. After what happened to Carl. I think I'm owed a fucking explanation.
I feel the anger rise up even more in my chest. You want an explanation after the shit you've been pulling? Flynn once again looks taken aback by my anger.
The hell are you talking about?
My paw moves to my pocket. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That fucked up scavenger hunt that you sent us on. That you started with Carl. Flynn gasps at me.
What?
I feel some of my resolution dissolve as the lizard's face looks completely bewildered. He's lying. Anger swells once more. Quit fucking lying to me. I know what you did, and I know what you think happened. Flynn steps forward.
Chase, get the fuck out of here. This isn't about you. TJ's telling me what happened.
I look down at TJ. Again, at that vacant stare. What did he tell you?
Leave. This isn't about you.
Flynn walks up to me, giving me a hard shove in the chest. I stumble back. Really? I feel my paw reaching into my pocket as if of its own accord. I grasp the note, and even though my nerves fail me as I'm pulling it out. It seems to happen on its own. And what the hell is this? I unfold the note, ripping the old paper in the process. But it's intact enough when I present it in front of the lizard's face. Flynn's brow furrows in confusion for a moment before he takes it roughly from my paws. He stares at it, eyes scanning the page as if looking at it from all angles. Finally, his eyes flick up at me.
What the fuck is this?
He whispers hoarsely. I look straight back at him, waiting for the expression of familiarity, the guilt, the knowledge that that piece of paper is his own doing. But instead of what the mirror promised, I get shock and confusion instead. Just like that, I feel my determination break down. It was as if something had been driving me to this moment, and that cloud covering my brain breaks for a moment. For a moment, things are clear. I'm left in a daze.
What is this?
His voice turns up into a scream, and it's such a horrible sound that I stumble back. He holds the paper up, showing me, and I stare as if I'd never seen it before. Unlike the other notes, this one is a crude drawing. On the left of the page, a small stick figure with lynx ears is kneeling on a beach, surrounded by clams and starfish. He's covering his face, tears falling into the sand below. Extending out from the beach, poorly drawn waves spread across the top of the page to represent the lake. Far below the waves, two figures are connected near the bottom of the page. One has X's for eyes, His legs and arms splayed out, tiny little bubbles coming up from his mouth. Below that figure another sits below him, grinning mischievously, holding the drowned stick figure down by his tail. As if the picture wasn't deceptive enough, words are drawn and arrows label the characters. Toby sits on the beach, Sydney dead in the water, and Chase holding him down. I'd looked at the drawing so many times before, but now I have Flynn to have Flynn be the one to show it to me. But he had to have been the one to draw this. Who else could have done it? But there he was, standing there with a stare of shock, just like me but I could see his expression very quickly morphing into fury. All my plans to confront him, to figure out how he'd found out, are thrown out the window because he'd just found out. I'm completely unprepared, and conveniently the presence that spurred me on has left as well. And it's only now that I realize how stupid this all was. It's like I'd been tricked.
Chase.
Flynn's walking towards me. His expression is like nothing I've seen before.
Chase.
I can see in his eyes what he's about to do. And back away, stumbling. And that's when he rushes, tackling me to the ground and crushing me into the hard, sharp rocks beneath. Unlike yesterday, all my strength and confidence has abandoned me. It's like whatever had been driving me has left me right at this moment, taken several steps back to watch. Like it wanted this all to happen all along. Flynn's fists find my face, first on the right side, then another on the left. Each one brings a flash of light to my vision, and at that moment all senses leave me. It's kind of nice in a way. Like I don't have to be present for the horror that I brought on myself. A few more punches come my way. The impacts like earthquakes in my head, but I don't feel any pain. Instead, they leave me feeling stunned, like I'd been electrocuted. I can feel blood pouring from my nose like a faucet, though, and soon it fills my mouth with a familiar metallic taste.
You fucking piece of shit! You think you can just play with me like this?
His strong, big hands find my neck and start to squeeze. Through blurred vision, I can see him above me, eyes filled with tears, glaring down at me with a rage that I didn't think was possible.
You little shit! You won't fucking get away with this shit this time!
I hear the rustling leaves again. My reflection, Sydney, the town, whatever it is, laughing at me. Vaguely I wonder if Flynn had been spurred on by it too. We're puppets. Nothing seems real right now. What's happening to me? To Flynn? What's happening between us? It seems impossible. But the breath that's stuck in my throat is very real. I start to see stars and blackness begin to cloud my vision. After the things I've done, I guess I deserve it. I guess I deserve the appropriate way to go out.
Flynn!
A soft voice is coming from the distance.
It was me. I did it.
Hands come away from my throat and I take in one massive breath, like I'm coming up from the water after being under for far too long. Spit and blood go down my throat and into my lungs, and I roll over, letting out a great cough, spraying the rock in front of me and in front of my face with dark drops of blood.
What?
I watch his blood drips to the flat rock with a steady rhythm. From my nose, having to breathe extra hard to get my mouth full through my mouth because it was full of it.
I said I did it. It was an accident. I pushed him out into the water and he drowned.
I grabbed the rock, stumbling to my feet, feeling that old anger return. He's going to kill Toby. Stop him. I stumble unsteadily to my feet and turn to see the lizard with his back to me approaching Toby, TJ. He will never leave Toby alone. Just like Sydney. I stumble after them, hand tightening around the rock, the back of Flynn's head just in my sights.
What did you say?
But you can stop it for good. Break the circle. I'm a few steps away from Flynn when I swing, bringing it down on his head as hard as I can. The sound is awful. Immediately, Flynn bends over, screaming in pain as his paws come up to clutch the back of his head. I swing again, this time glancing off the top of his head, most of my power robbed by the poor angle. Flynn turns to me then, still crouched low and tries to tackle me. I stay on my feet for the most part, but I'm pushed back several feet as I grab onto his back for support. I feel the cold water on my feet. And that's when I grab the ladder under his armpits and start to pull us both out further. Flynn doesn't seem to realize what's happening until the water is up to our knees. He stands up straight and I see the blood running down his face from his head. He's glaring at me, expression wild, gaze clouded just like mine when he takes a swing at me. It lands on my jaw. Though my head is snapped to the side, and another flash fills my vision, I'm able to grab that paw and swing him out further into the lake. The lizard stumbles out into the shallows, standing up, waist deep, and that's when I throw myself at him with everything I've got. I tackle him into the water, and we're both submerged. I feel a change in Flynn's demeanor. The change as he realizes he's gone from fighting for the truth for fighting for his life. Claws come out and scratch at my arms, but I ignore it, the cold of the water numbing any pain that I might have felt. I kick us further out into the lake, my powerful tail and body coming into play, doing what I was built to do. I know I knocked the breath out of Flynn when I barreled into him, so he doesn't have much time before he needs another breath. I'm not going to give it to him. I thrust us both through the water, downward against the rocks and sand below us. He grasps at me, kicking with his feet, and I catch a glimpse of his face then. It's not angry anymore or clouded. Instead, he stares at me with shock and utter disbelief. I'm killing him, and he realizes it. He also realizes the truth then. I see it in his eyes. What he's wanted to know for the past decade, he realizes in the last minutes of his life. He kicks at me with his feet, his movements becoming even more desperate. His paws move to my neck, trying to choke me again, but it's useless. I already have my breath. I watch bubbles spurt from his muzzle. Then, all that once in a gush. His paws go from strangling to pleading. He's grabbing me by the shoulders. shaking, tugging, looking into my eyes. But I'm relentless. That feeling of not being able to turn back too strong. His muzzle opens, trying to breathe, but only taking in water. His thrashing turns up a notch, scratching my legs with his claws as he kicks even harder. The second burst of desperation only lasts a few seconds, though. His movements growing more and more tired, weaker and weaker. He's not looking at me anymore, eyes staring past me towards the glimmering surface above, a place I'd never let him see again. His movements become more sporadic, like he's having convulsions. My instincts tell me to let him go, to end this insanity, but my paws won't let me. I close my eyes and press harder. After a few more minutes, I don't feel any more movements. Slowly, I let him go, careful not to look at his face. His body stays still for the most part, moving back and forth gently with the current. I kick to the surface, my limbs numb as I break through to the cold air above. I pull myself along through the rocks, gasping and feeling incredibly weak for some reason. My stomach lurches, and for a moment I feel as if I am going to throw up. I stay there on my hands and knees, staring into the water at my reflection. My face looks blank, and for a moment I see the horrible gashed mouth. I know I'm crying, even if the lake water is covering it up. What happened? But as I look up, I see TJ there. Everything comes together. He's on his knees, staring past me, mouth hanging open. Suddenly I remember why it is this. Suddenly I remember exactly why it is this all happened. And my chest fills with warmth and love for the cat as I stumble towards him on my knees. TJ doesn't seem to notice as I wrap my arms around him, pressing his face to my chest. I've got you. We're okay. He's not going to hurt you anymore. I breathe heavily into the lynx's ear as I whisper to him, wanting to let him know that everything's going to be okay. Finally, I feel him shake his head against my body.
What? Chase? Why?
Because he knew. And he was never going to leave us alone. He tried to kill us. I kissed the top of the cat's head gently, wanting him to know how much I care.
Is he?
He's gone. TJ sobs against me, but I only hug him tighter.
Why did you do that?
He reaches out to my left. I look, seeing the paper and the lake. Not sure which he's talking about. Me showing Flynn the paper or killing him? I don't know. So I don't answer. Instead, I hug him even tighter, whispering in his ear. It'll be just like last time. We won't tell anyone. Our secret. Something turns ominous in the air. That horrible tension I'd felt dissipates when we'd opened the letters. That horrible tension I'd felt dissipates when we opened the letters returns. This town needs secrets. I'll tell him he tried to kill us. We had to protect ourselves. TJ leans tiredly against me, his arms limp. We're gonna be okay. Just like last time, we can forget. TJ doesn't respond, so I look out at the lake and get a shock as I see Flynn floating there, close to the shore. His face down, just barely touching the surface. For a moment, I wonder if it's not too late, if there's still enough life in him to be revived. But the same feeling holds me back. I clean the TJ instead. We're gonna be okay. We were manipulated. We keep moving in circles. That voice comes to the surface for a moment. The first time, sounding stunned. I return to focusing on the links, the whole reason why I did any of this in the first place. Whatever happens, I'm going to protect him from all the shitty people in the world that want to hurt him. By the time we get to our feet, it's dark. I have to help the lynx along through the sagebrush. He's quiet, robotic like he was the first time this happened. I help him into my car and I get to the driver's seat, quietly pulling out of the parking lot and leaving Flynn's empty truck behind. I watch it disappear in the rear-view mirror, sitting alone under the yellow parking lot lights. As we drive along the road, the lynx stares out the window. I can still feel the tension in his arms and legs, making it difficult. I can still feel the tension in my arms and legs, making it difficult to keep the wheel steady. My heavy, wet clothes stick to the seat. Finally, we get to the freeway, and I look back again. Echo, just a series of tiny lights, insignificant on the desert landscape. It seems absurd that this place was where all that horror happened, where all that horror still is.
Chase?
I snap out of my daydream, looking over at the lynx, his eyes glowing gently in the fading light.
After we're done with wherever we're going.
The police station?
Yeah. Can you give me a ride back to CCU? I missed my bus.
TJ smiles sheepishly, and I blink, wondering what to say. Does he not realize? Then I realize what he's doing. What's happening? Just like last time. I clear my throat. Oh yeah, definitely. I'll give you a ride for sure.
Thanks, Chase.
TJ smiles at me, then goes back to looking out the window. I wonder if he'll forget what happened, like what happened with Sydney. I hope that I can. We drive off into the dark desert towards the soft glow of Peyton in the distance. 5 years later. Seriously, this is gonna be such a good fucking time. You'll be glad you came. The big grizzly bear nudges the coyote playfully, almost knocking the canine into the passenger window.
Ow! Keep your paws on the wheel. And your paw, at least. Or your paw, at least. This road ain't in good shape.
Cameron eyes the giant half-eaten burger in the bear's equally giant paw. Dev's other paw casually steers the wheel, elbow resting out through the open window. The bear looks happier than he'd been in a while, somehow grinning as he chews. The coyote sighs and stares out his own window, watching the desert landscape fly by. It was nothing like this in his hometown, and he found himself wishing he was back amongst the pine forests. Something he'd been wishing since he moved out to Pueblo for school. Technically, this was his natural habitat, but we found the whole place depressing somehow. Empty and dry and rough. I think I'm Devin, right? Or are you Devin?
No, you're Devin. I'm Cameron.
What you pouting for?
I'm not pouting.
Yeah, you are. Cameron sighs, deciding to change the subject.
So, why couldn't Larry go again?
I don't know. Said something about his car breaking down. I think he just flaked, though.
Aren't there other haunted places in Pueblo that we could have gone to, like by the school?
The bear shakes his head, letting go of the wheel to crumple up the foil that had packaged his sandwich and tossing it into the back. Not like Echo, dude. This place is the most haunted town in the entire fucking world. Cameron sighs once again, then suddenly grasps his seat as the car swerves and turns hard into a smaller road, heading towards a big blue lake.
What the fuck?
Whoops! Sorry. Almost missed the turn. Gotta hit Lake Emma before the actual town. The road quickly ends in a small parking lot, empty and cracked. There's still a truck sitting there, rusting.
Why?
Because a lot of shit happened here. The grizzly hops out of the car, making the entire thing tilt sideways as he squeezes his bulk out before reaching into the back for the camera bag. The coyote allows himself one last frustrated sigh before he gets out as well. The bear waits for him, reaching out a large padded paw. Cameron takes it and is immediately drawn into a tight embrace and a kiss. The coyote tenses up for a moment, then waits until Devin releases him.
Ugh, can you not do that right after you eat a big, greasy hamburger?
Cameron makes a show of wiping his lips. Devin rolls his eyes. No pleasing you, is there? Nevertheless, the grizzly holds out his paw again and Cameron takes it, the two of them walking towards the faint trail. It's not a pleasant walk, the trail almost obscured by sagebrush and dry vegetation. Once they reach the edge of the lake, Devin has to help the coyote down the rough, rocky terrain. The coyote feels like a child as Devin lifts him down off the boulders and onto the beach, the bear's tree trunk biceps bulging as he does. They stand there for a moment, taking in the scenery. Then Devin leans over to set the camera bag down. Cameron stands there, looking around at the very unphotogenic lake.
So, what exactly happened here that you're so interested in?
Devin takes off his backwards baseball cap for a moment to smooth his head fur down. He puts it back on and bends over again to take out the camera. Some people say the lake is haunted too. Some guy got killed here in like 2015 according to a few articles I read.
Wonderful.
That was self-defense though.
Was that during the whole hysteria thing or whatever?
Devin pans the camera across the length of the lake before stopping on Cameron. Coyote frowns at being filmed. No, that was in 2017. Bear pans the camera the other way now, and Cameron feels himself getting sweaty under his shirt already. Some coyote he was.
It's so hot here.
Once we set ourselves up in the motel, we'll have some shade.
It's still open?
Nothing's open. Everything's abandoned now.
We're just we're gonna get arrested for trespassing.
The bear finally turns off the camera, leaning over to shove it in his bag. Cops never come down here. It's too out of the way.
Anything for views, right?
Hey, my subscribers are gonna love this shit. Now, come on. Let's get back to the car. The bear turns and starts scrambling up the rocky boulders, Cameron waiting as he does. That's when the coyote turns around to glance back at the lake one last time, and the lizard lays in the shallows, splayed out, staring at the sky. But he's not staring because his eyes are gone. Half of his muzzle missing. Fuck! Go for it,
That's
Cameron.
me. Fuck!
Cameron jumps back, tipping over the rocks and landing hard against the sharp edges. The coyote hisses in pain, but fear spurns him on, trying to scramble up the rocks after Devon. The bear already turned around, though, reaching down and pulls Cameron up. Shit! You alright? What happened? What happened?
What happened? What happened? What happened?
As Cameron clings to the large bear, he looks back, but nothing's there.
I don't know. I saw.
Devon looks in the same direction, squinting. Cameron stares a while longer, then turns back and shakes his head against Devon's chest. When Cameron looks up at the bear, he's grinning, though. Holy shit. Did you see a ghost? Coyote scowls.
What? No. I just thought I saw something. It was reflections in the water or something.
The bear gives him a knowing smile.
What?
You're gonna be a believer by the end of all of this. I know it. The grizzly hugs him tightly as Cameron frowns, still looking back at the shallows. It had been so real. But before he can really collect himself, Devon is pulling him along back to the car.
I think that's the only ending for TJ's route. I don't think there was an option.
Yeah, I don't think
Was
there's
there?
another option for TJ. This is it. It's probably one of the earlier ones that they did, but also at the same time, this route seems to be intended to, like, really tell you what happened. So
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, you think so? I think it kind of has like some finality to it that makes it seem more of like an end.
Yeah. So this might have been the last one that they did. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure at all. What a hell of a story, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
What do you think of it so far?
Yeah, I like
What do
it.
you think of this?
I actually like
TJ.
TJ's route.
Hey, I like TJ's route too.
Yeah. I think Chase needs to, like, here's the thing. Chase, he just needs to come to the understanding that him and TJ are never really going to get together.
Oh no, never. Because TJ, I think TJ has like maybe he's bi, but he's still so repressed that he's not going to allow himself to actually get with a guy. He's the kind of I think he's Mormon that he will repress it and then date a woman, marry a woman, have kids, and then he'll just suppress all the homosexuality.
Is TJ supposed to be Mormon?
I think he's supposed to be Mormon, yeah. It's either him or Sydney. I'm not sure.
I would
I
go
know
with
for sure that TJ is a
Religious.
Christian of some denomination because he has that cross on. So
yeah. I'd have to, if I had to say anything, like, TJ does remind me of, like, people who have been sent to conversion camps.
mhm.
So that's one of those things. It could be one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, fuck the Mormon Church for lobbying so that they can run conversion camps. If you know,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's just disgusting.
Okay, our amazing patrons over the past 7 years. So this might be the last one.
I think it was like the last one.
Yeah.
Because mostly because like that finality, and then also it just said it right there over the 7 years, so it's something they've been working on for a while.
Yeah.
I think it was either this one or Jenna's route was like the last route that they did and finally finished up with the actual Echo story and like this visual novel.
Yeah.
And then I think they did oh shit, what's the next one they did?
Ad
It's supposed to be
Astra?
like no, not
Route
not
66 or whatever it is?
Route 65 I think they did in the middle of this.
Hmm.
I think at Astra they started first or kind of in that same period.
Yeah, set up the greater universe.
Yeah,
But
and there's
alright.
there is like another one. It is set also in Echo, but it's like the sequel, the direct sequel to Echo.
Oh, and it
because
has to do with
takes
like
place in Echo.
it has to do with a bunch of like ghost
It
hunters,
has
right?
to do with yeah, and I think those two ghost hunters are Cameron and Devin, like the ones we just saw.
That makes sense.
So after we do Echo, that would be the next logical step, unless you want to do Route 65.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have however
Lots of
many. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3 more.
There's like yeah, because we did Leo.
Yeah, we did
and we just
Leo's,
finished-
and we just finished TJ's. So yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, that is all the time I have right now. I need to go get ready for what's happening later tonight. So I will see
Yes,
you
sir.
guys later.
Yes, I'll see everyone next week. Thanks for joining us for TJ's route.
Indeed.
As always, thank you for listening and or watching. And bye.
Bye, everyone.